Today I'm going to talk about the kinds of stories that are available. Sometimes you think there is only one kind of story. No, that's not. There are many kinds of stories. Just like when you want to watch a movie, different movies have got different plots, different styles, different themes. And just like that, when you tell a story, you can actually have different themes or different types of stories. Do you know when it comes to stories, there are many kinds of stories. Today, I'm going to talk about the various types of stories you can use in front of an audience. Now, let me start with the first one. The first one is called the reluctant hero. What do you mean by reluctant hero? It's like somebody becomes a hero but did not plan to be a hero. And it's because the people around them see the potential and they say that, hey, why don't you do this? And they're like, no, I don't think I can do that. But they said, you can. Come on, you should. And because of support, they reluctantly do something. And they said, oh my God, I did it. So that if you have a story like this, that is very powerful. Now another thing is the second type is called loss and redemption. What do I mean by loss and redemption? This is the typical stories. Now when you hear about somebody who tells, I had a hard time, I was stricken by cancer and I nearly died, then something happened, or I met somebody, or I read a book about this kind of solution and I came out of this problem. And because of that, today I have this knowledge. I can share it with you. Now that is called a loss and redemption. But let me share a little bit about the loss and redemption structure. It's like you're going smoothly in your life and then a problem comes into your life. And because of that, you are now going downhill. And it becomes worse and worse and worse. And then something snaps and then you go up and now you are now redeemed. So that's what the loss and redemption. Many movies are like this. You look at Avengers, it's also about that, loss and redemption. People have a problem, they overcome the problem. Now I'm better off than where I was just now. Then the third one is called the underdog. It's a little bit like the reluctant hero, but it's someone who's he should not be where he is today. In many movies you watch that. It's somebody who's come from the village, uneducated, and because somebody sort of puts him down, and then they say people don't believe him, and he had to prove himself. A good example would be AirAsia. Now AirAsia, as you know, by Tony Fernandez, he had to fight against those big airlines. He didn't come with a lot of money. He had millions of dollars in his bank account. Let me buy some planes and let's start AirAsia. He didn't do that, right? So his is something that's really had to struggle. Can you imagine fighting against MAS? How's that going to be? Or the other airlines in the world? That's an underdog. If you have a story like that, that's super powerful. Okay, the fourth kind of story is called discovery. It's like you discovered something. You didn't know, but you had a problem, and then you were looking for the answers and you found it. So that is called discovery. Let me tell you, in my life, I can share something about my personal experience. When I was in college, I was studying accountancy, and accounting law is a paper. And my lecturer was not the most interesting lecturer in the world, let's put it that way. And he, in fact, his name is Mr. Ng. He used to have certain things that really sort of cheese me off, because he used the word okay too much. Like, for example, I say, okay guys, students, okay, what about the lesson I taught you the other day? Okay, what about the assignment? Okay, I'll be sitting and counting how many okays today. I was not paying attention. I was really doing badly in my law paper. So I needed something to help me to pass my law paper. And that's why I was looking around and say, any help I can get. I found a book in my college library called The Memory Book by Harry Lorraine. I took the book, I read it, and it shared some of the memory techniques that can be used to do well. And I tried it, and guess what? I really passed my law paper. And who was most surprised? Mr. Ng, of course. He asked me, how do you pass law? I felt like saying, surely not because of you, sir. But no, I know, I don't say that. But that was a discovery. Today, that discovery is paying my bills. That's what I'm teaching the whole world. I've been to 8 countries now, sharing people how the brain works. Why? That starting point, that book. Of course, since then I read many, many books on this. And now I'm in the process of writing my own book. But the discovery, can you see that? You never know. You discover something, it can pay your bills. Might even take you a few countries. And I've been on so many media. So in fact, I just got interviewed by BFM just 2 weeks ago. The fifth one is called the curation. What do you mean by curation? You may not have your own information. You may not be an expert in a particular subject, but you interview, say, 10 people who are experts in a particular subject. For example, let's say I don't sell real estate, but let's say if I go and say, let me teach you how to sell real estate. People ask me, but were you ever in real estate? I said, no, nobody's going to listen to me. But I said, but you know what? I have interviewed the top 20 real estates in the whole world, the real estate people. I mean, those who are selling real estate. And I've got their ideas. Want to learn? How they became number one? You want to learn? Sure. Now you see, I become an authority, not because of my own expertise, because I so-called borrow other people's expertise. Become a curator of information. Can you see that? So the next one is called revenge. Now this is a very interesting one. You have an enemy. You say, look, I hated this. Somebody challenged me. Somebody bullied me. So I had to fight back. And that's what it is. And sometimes it can be a common enemy, you know. Common enemy means, you know, countries go for war because of common enemy. You know, Germany is a good example. Hitler managed to move all the people of Germany to fight against all the other countries because they say all the rest of the world is our common enemy. That's, of course, Hitler was a very good storyteller. And people bought his story. And you know, the First World War started because of that. So if you have a common enemy, now common enemy doesn't mean a person or a country. It can be alcoholism, for example. It could be global warming. It could be something that you're frustrated about and you say, you know, I really hate this. I'm sure you do as well. You're frustrated, right? Let me show you how to overcome that. So that is a common enemy and it can help people to overcome. Finally, the last one is called Ascension. It comes from the ascend, you know, like ascend, descend. So Ascension, maybe I'm a rags to riches. I didn't even have money for roti canai. Yeah, I was really, really struggling. Sometimes I will just drink water and, you know, and today I'm a multimillionaire. Okay, I have businesses in 7 countries. Want to hear my story? This is what I did. So that could be a motivating story as well. So very quickly, let me wrap up for you guys. The first one is what? The reluctant hero. Number 2, reluctant hero, where, you know, I don't want to be a hero, but I'm forced to be a hero. Number 2 is loss and redemption. Number 3 is the underdog. Number 4 is where you discover something, a discovery. Number 5, it can be a curator. You can be a curator, a curation. You take other people's information and you share. And 6 is where you take revenge. You know, common enemy. We find a common enemy, let's fight it together. And finally, it is ascension. So if you were to use these in your story, I mean, in the sense that if you were to take any of these themes, you can build your story around that. That each of these have a different message. Sometimes, you know, something very interesting. Sometimes you could have one story, but you can emphasize on different things. I can share with you. In my next video, I'll be sharing with you guys some of my own stories. I've got stories for all the 7 areas, okay? All the 7 types I've got stories. And some of the stories you might see are the same stories, but I'll be stressing on different points. So you can do that because a story is a tool and it's a fantastic tool. And stories have shaped human history all this while. And you never know what your story can help you to do.